OTR Capital, here tonight with a new series called So You Think You Can Truck. I'm with Delmar, the best of the best. We're going to be bringing you this series with industry experts talking about insurance, accounting, dispatching, all things trucking. You've seen Delmar before. We brought him back. We're going to kick this off together tonight. Delmar, thanks for being here.
No, thank you again. I'm loving this. The response I'm getting in my DMs on IG, on Trailer Strong is crazy.
Well, everybody's talking. Everybody wants to share information.
Yes.
We want to talk about what's going on. Freight's
Yes.
never been better. How do we continue this? How do we capitalize on it?
It's great right now. I think we all know the market is crazy.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. And there's a lot of good things coming out of this too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, everybody's growing. Freight rates are great.
Yeah.
You know, it's a wonderful night to talk about all these things. And I'm excited. There's so many people already here. Kalia Trucking, KMR Services, Marlos, thank you, everyone that's already tuning in. And I have a feeling I know why people are here.
I think I do too.
I think we're giving away
$2,021.
Oh, and we normally do this at Happy Trucking New Year. We've already done this once. Victoria won last month.
Yes.
It was awesome. She came by the office. It was great. We're going to do it again. We're going to give away $2,021 tonight to whoever's participating. How do you do that? How do you win tonight?
Go to YouTube right now. Subscribe on OTR if you haven't.
Okay.
Comment tonight.
Yeah.
Follow me, Trailer Strong, on IG. Follow my lady here, Grace.
Thank you.
On IG. Make some comments. We're gonna answer whatever questions I got.
Jump in, ask
Yes.
questions. We're going to talk about a few things. We're going to get it going, but we're definitely here tonight to answer your questions as well. So, with that said,
Let's go.
I want to talk about how great freight is. That's the topic of
Yes.
conversation.
Yes.
But if you're an owner operator, are you right now trying to stick with the same broker, and continue the broker relationship that you've had in the past? Or are you just finding the best freight out there? The best rate, the best load?
Right.
Or should you continue on with that broker relationship you've always had?
This is our 2018. 2018 was great for trucking, right? So I was in a situation where I was in some dedicated freight. The spot market took off. They was like, Delmar, remember me a year from now when the freight slows down, we got your back.
Right.
Guess what happened when 2019 came around? They didn't do what they said we were going to do. They ended up dropping the rate and let me go. They found somebody else can do it cheaper. To answer your question, it's a risk if you hold on to your dedicated route and they keep it the rate where they are and they drop you a year from now.
Right.
So I'll say about 75% of the carriers right now are jumping on the spot market because they're paying so much money.
Right.
What I would do, depending on what the relationship you got with your broker, if you got a good relationship with your broker right now and y'all been doing business for a while, you might want to stay put.
Well, I say let them take care of them.
Right.
Let them take care of you when times get tough.
But let's hope they do. But I was in a situation they didn't take care of me.
Right.
And we was a year into that relationship. So if you have a driver, a couple of drivers that you're not using on the dedicated route, take advantage of the spot. The spot is on fire.
It is on fire. And, devil's advocate here, we do know a lot of good brokers out there. You do at least want to foster the relationship for when, if they know who you are, they're not going to just be throwing the lowest rate at you. It's something to consider.
Yeah.
You make a great point. That could definitely happen. And we saw that happen. On the factoring side, we have relationships with thousands of trucking companies, the best of the best and people that have contract freight. And we saw those contracts diminish, when 2019 hit. Yeah,
and I was a part of that too. So when 2019 hit, they just threw me to the wayside. And I thought to myself, I should have took advantage of that 2018 rates. 2021, I am. I'm not on anybody committed, dedicated.
Right.
Because right now, I'm dedicated to the money. What a rate's at.
Right.
Show me the highest rate, that's where I'm going. And that's how I'm rolling right now. That's how I'm operating.
So I think more than ever, owner-operators, they're jumping around, mid-sized trucking companies, they're looking for freight.
They should.
Right.
As they should. We are small companies. We need to get all the revenue we can because the market will correct itself. And we're going to all look back and like, yo, why we wasn't getting it when we was getting it? You was too busy running that dedicated route that was already spotty. He or she wouldn't give you the runs like they're supposed to anyways. Yeah. Right? So then you end up being committed to that and you missed out on $100,000 if you would stay with this another 9 months.
Right. Steve
we don't know how long it's going to last.
Steve says follow that market.
There we go.
Yeah, absolutely. Follow that market. But understand too, for as long, I've been in this for 10 years. You've been in for?
Going on 16 years now.
So we've seen the cycle.
Yeah.
And it is cyclical. There's so many people jumping into trucking that don't totally understand that this is not normal, right?
It's not.
And everybody knows that there's driver shortages.
Yes.
You can't find trailers. But what goes up does come down. And in trucking, the highs are high and the lows are low.
Take advantage of the high right now, y'all. We deserve it. I was looking crazy as I don't know what in 2019 and 2020, looking around like, even talking to you, was like, yo, I can't keep this pace with these rates right now. So I'm not going to tell nobody to go out here and not take advantage of the situation. Get the most of their money right now.
Absolutely.
Because look, the shippers right now, they got the money to put. They're gonna squeeze out an extra $1 million to pay you. Now we ain't getting $1 million, but they got another extra $1 million for them extra lanes they was giving. They ain't hurting. They doing record profits right now.
Oh, absolutely.
So why should we give them a break?
No.
No.
I mean, you're definitely right.
I'm gonna give them a break. No. The CEOs out here, they G5s.
Well, the only thing we do need to give consideration to is, rates are the best they've ever been, but put a little aside. If there's anything we want you to know, put a little aside because it's great. It could be great for another 6 months. It could be great for another year. We've got produce season coming. Everything's opening up because of COVID.
Yeah, drivers, I know how I feel. You got an extra 10, 12,000 in your account. You living it up, and you still got money coming in. Believe me, this market will correct itself. So you're eating lobster right now, and it's gonna be oodles and noodles on January if you don't save your money. You can be trying to spice up the seasons. You putting the chicken with the pork flavor, just trying to get creative with it. You don't want that. Definitely keep that money, put it to the side so you don't be in a situation where you eat noodles and noodles with 6 different flavors in it.
Right.
You don't want that. Save that money.
That's right. Absolutely, you've got to save it because it will absolutely come down at some point.
It will.
Someone brings up is the market really back up now? I'm not sure it is. That could have been because of gas prices, fuel prices, but I think, going into produce, we know capacity is tight. We know no one can find trailers.
Right, and that's why we need to take advantage of the drivers. Y'all see there's a trailer shortage out here. Y'all been in a situation where you got an extra trailer to drop, get your money. Make them pay more. Produce season, it's the capacity is tight. Look at these load boards on the spot market. If they have hundreds of loads going that direction, don't feel bad about going up on your rate.
Right.
It's so many brokers that you don't know on there. It's no sense to trying to be nice to everybody and be competitive when they need you.
Right.
This is our time because when it goes back down, they're going to be competitive with their stuff and they're going to make sure they get what they need out to be profitable on their side.
Right.
So there's no time to be all gentle because we don't know what 2022 will look like. It could be pretty nasty for us, and we didn't save enough, and we trying to be gentle. This is time to get it. Right. Let's hustle. The money out here.
And if you're not sure what you should be charging, you should be using OTR's Rate Negotiator. It's where you can go into the client portal, you can plug in the lane, Atlanta to Charlotte, in a reefer, and a drive-in, and a straight truck. This is what we see the market paying right now. And this is real time. I know load boards have this information, but it can be old information.
Yes.
They get their rates based on when the brokers submit. They don't do that daily. We see what rates are delivering at the day that they deliver because we typically get that paperwork then. So we know what the real-time rates are. If you're not using our rate negotiator, when you're talking to your brokers, you're missing out. You're potentially missing out on market rates.
And that's how you can push for more money. When you go to the rate and you look at it, you can like, yo, you won't feel bad pushing for $350 because they were doing $325 for the last 3 weeks. And you still see 100 loads on there. Push for the $350 per mile. So don't feel bad at it. Definitely look at that so you can look at how to negotiate so you feel confident asking what you're asking for.
David's asking if the webinar is active. David, we're here. If you have a question, ask us. Thank you guys so much. It's exciting to have you here. Again, ask your questions. Ronaldo wants to know where is the best place to find drivers,
It's so tough right now.
Yeah.
If social media, you can go Indeed, you can go to all these other big platforms. What are we using now? Because I'm expanding. I'm looking for a local driver right now, and it's tough for me. I think we've seen something that what we talked about in Texas or something.
Okay, the national news article that just came out I think a week ago was something that a trucking company in Texas is paying a drivers $14,000 a week. It's not completely factual because those drivers are actually having to pay all of their truck note, all their insurance, all that. So.
Well, it's a good tactic to get you to listen. We're talking about
We're
it right now.
We're talking about it?
Right. Because, actually, these guys, it's always hitting stuff when they say $14,000. Nobody's cutting $14,000 to you just show up and pop a break. It's something to it. But it's so competitive out here, they got to do something to get your attention. I guess I need to say I'm going to give somebody $14,000.
Yeah, you should.
Nah, I can't do that.
Or, at least a signing bonus, Delmar.
It's not going to be 14. Please don't get in my DMs talking about them 14. It's a joke.
Well, So as far as finding drivers, I know we've talked in the past, and we do have a webinar on driver recruiting, so
Yeah.
you should definitely check that
Yeah.
out. We've talked about things like going to Indeed, social media,
Yeah.
word of mouth.
Yep.
The biggest thing I think and tip we can possibly give is when you get a good driver, retain them.
Yes. It's a good time to, if you have a good driver right now, the rates are a little bit more higher, like we just talked about, you can pay them more.
Right.
I'm doing more
And
for
you
my
should.
drivers now, as you
Right,
should.
right.
If they are usually get $250 for a certain load, you can go up another $50 to $75. That means a lot to these guys when you do that.
Right.
You're getting it anyways.
Right.
If you don't have a driver, you have nothing right now. It's plenty of loads, plenty of money to make, but if you ain't got no drivers, you dead in the water.
And, David brings up truck driving schools. That was going to be something we were going to talk a little bit about tonight. Whether or not you go, first of all, you can recruit from truck driving schools, as you should.
You can, but
you got a new, right.
But and none experience, that's tough. You dealing with somebody who don't know how to slide a tandem. They still struggling with, directions, backing up, and some of these insurance companies won't allow that newbie to get in your truck.
That's the best piece of advice. I mean, that was a gem right there, because what you need to understand too is by adding a brand new driver, your insurance provider may or may not actually like that.
Yeah.
They may not allow it, but also when you go to renew next year, if you've got a new driver and anything goes wrong, you're potentially risking a renewal for next year.
Yeah, and I don't do that. I've had new guys start, and it's a struggle trying to explain to this guy how to slide his tandems, how to turn. They oversteering everywhere. They got to take 2 lanes from the back up to get in somewhere. I've seen it. I started somewhere, so I'm not knocking them, but just be careful, be mindful that if you want to think long term, look at your CSA score and say, yo, it could be damaged. It could be diminished in a way because you're having multiple incidents and accidents because you got somebody new.
What is a fair signing bonus?
Now, look, 14,000.
Well, that's not signing. That's what they were saying, that they were just paying drivers $14,000 a week after.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean?
Honestly, right now for a small company, I feel like $1,500 to $2,000 sign-on bonus is great. Now, keep in mind, no one's giving you 2 stacks when you first get in there.
Right.
You cranking the truck up like, you know, where my 2 stacks at, bro? No, that's not how it works. I'm gonna break it up in increments and make sure you get it. No, that's because I'm not in this situation. I'm not in the Fortune 500. I can just be chopping up checks and just giving to people, but
Right.
but I can give it to you in increments. So 2,000, I think, is a good number.
I love that. I think that's that's not only fair, but the fact that you don't do it up front. Hey, come on,
Right.
I'll give you $500 now.
Right, 5 at the end
After
of at
30
the 7
days,
days.
after
Right. Right.
you break it out, and hopefully over that time you build a relationship
Right.
with your driver. And that's the other thing. If you don't have time to coach a new driver, don't go pick them up from the trucking school.
Yeah,
They're
can
going to
be.
require your time.
Oh yeah, a lot of it, and then you got to really just mentor them, and a lot of talking. You can't really teach nobody how to drive over the phone,
Right.
because that's all you're doing, and it's really tough trying to explain to them how to look at the map, how to look at the shipper, go to the shipper, how to turn, read the signs. It's exhausting.
And if you haven't done it yourself,
Oh.
it's like the blind leading the blind.
It really is.
Right. So if you're going to start a trucking business and you're going to add drivers, you better fully understand it yourself.
Yeah.
You've driven a truck.
Yeah.
You fully understand everything
Yeah.
about it. So when you don't drive now, if someone calls you, you can answer
I
all
can
the
walk
questions.
through it. I was
Right.
a new guy at one point, hitting everything, just scraping up all kinds. Well, they didn't know I was scraping up everything because I kept going. Most of the time, I didn't hurt anybody. I was just hitting signs, little yellow pole here and there.
Taking something out
little
here,
fence.
out there.
Yeah, just a little bending little stuff. They need to lean
It's
anyway.
like a little love tap.
Just a little love tap to get it
Yeah.
all sorted out.
Yeah.
Little love. Nobody's seen it.
Nobody noticed.
Yeah, except the camera.
Right.
But-
Sir.
Yeah, right. But no, report all accidents for real, y'all. Don't do what I did. I was very young. And young. That was
Right.
all I could really say for it. Though.
Right.
But no, seriously, no. But getting a new driver, it could be very risky. So if you get somebody with some years and some age and they very experienced, take care of them.
Right.
Yeah, take care of them because that's everything right now. Retention is everything.
People like our $2,000,
Oh, 2021?
Right.
The hell, we giving
well,
it
our
away.
$2,000, signing bonus.
Oh,
and then
they
we're
like
gonna
that.
give away more
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah, it's
for
gonna be
sure.
$2,021. So
Yeah. They want to say, can we talk about the new OTR app? We do have a new app out there. If you haven't utilized it, download it. Meanwhile, if you're utilizing the old one, please make sure you know that we're switching over to the new OTR app. But yes, we do have a great app with so many more features, fuel finders, rate negotiator. You can upload paperwork. So please,
Look at y'all. Okay, go
yeah,
ahead.
I know. So let's talk a little bit about, we were just saying truck driving school versus CDL training. If you're a new driver and you want to get in, or if you've got family, or if you're in trucking now and you've got family saying, hey, I think I want to get into this, do you go to truck driving school or do you sign on with a larger trucking company to get your CDL?
Well, it depends on the person. I went through truck driving school through a big company named Swift. It was best for me. You know, my credit wasn't great, so I didn't have a lot of money up front to go through truck driving school. So my best option was to go through Swift. But you know, I had to stay a whole year to get the reimbursement back, because once they loan you the money to go through truck driving school, you can either pay it out at the time of when I started,
Right.
or stay with them and they'll reimburse you the money. That was one of the best options for me. You can go through truck driving school because some guys don't want to go over the road. I had to go over the road because I had to go by their rules.
Well, if you go to truck driving school, they will finance it. It's possible to
Yeah,
get financing.
yeah.
If you go with the trucking company, you're going to be with them. They're going to pay you less until you reimburse them for the
Right.
training
Well, I say
expenses.
less, man, because sometimes you can get in a good dedicated lane,
Right.
right, and they can really take care of you. I was able to get on a good dedicated lane with Swift.
You're happy you did that. You've
so
talked
happy.
about that kind
Yes.
of. You've definitely talked about that's
I
how you
was.
got in, and that's
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not endorsing the company I was driving for, but the situation was really great, and everybody's different. So what it might be, you know, helpful for the next guy to go through truck driving school, because he can be home. He can get his license, then he can find someone that can take him under and really nurture him on how to be a good driver, and he don't have to ever go over the road.
Right.
Yeah, he'd be limited on where he can go, but he can get his experience around locally before he get on the road. Because sometimes people don't want to be on the road and leave their families and stuff like that, you know?
Well, absolutely, and you've got all the overhead of a
Yeah.
truck and insurance and
Yeah, you out there
being out. Right.
You out there taking showers all the time. You out there eating Subway and McDonald's all the time. It's like, it's sickening.
Right.
Yeah, you got to do stuff different with the French fries. You doing honey mustard with it, barbecue. Then you dip it in the ketchup. Now you got to mix the two in there. You got to get creative because you're eating the same crap all the time.
Right.
Nobody don't want to do that half the time.
No.
So that's the overall part of it. But if you can go through truck driving school and you know, you can finance it and be home all the time, you can get the chicken and grits and all the stuff your wife and your old lady making for yourself. So it depends on the person.
So somebody asked if NTG is the only load board for OTR. It's not. You know, we provide, you know, different. Right now in our OTR portal, NTG loads are definitely there and available, but we're always wanting to bring you the newest technology and additional load options. We did have another load board in there a few months ago, and we're working on something else. So stay tuned. We're always wanting to bring loads to our carriers and keep them, keep them moving. So let's talk also a little bit about OIDA.
Oh yeah, I love them.
Yeah.
They fighting for us.
So if you're not following OIDA as
You should.
a trucking owner,
Yes.
you should. I mean,
Independent. Yes. Small guys like us, they are fighting for us all the time for years.
absolutely. Yesterday they just came out with, there's new legislation, and this has been brought up before. Right now, the minimum insurance requirement for a truck is $750,000, right?
That's doable. Yes.
But apparently it hasn't really changed in over, I think, something like 25, 30 plus years. And so someone in the government is trying to bring forth legislation. It's called HR 2687, which would increase insurance to $4.92 million. That's a 556% increase for insurance coverage minimums. It's nearly impossible that a smaller trucking company, mid-size even,
No.
would be able to afford this kind of coverage.
And the crazy part about it, we all know no one's asking for over $1 million when we hauling this freight. Who wants 4.9?
Right.
What are we doing that at? They trying to squeeze us out. And that's what OIDA do right here. They are fighting for us. And I think they got like a petition or something you can call.
They do, right now, so on Facebook, and we'll post this on social media
Okay.
as well, because we're always, we want to protect the owner-operators
Yes.
out there, the small trucking companies, the drivers, the dispatchers that support them, small and mid-sized trucking companies, they're what run this
Yeah,
this
it's
country.
the heartbeat of this country.
That's right.
Imagine they squeezing everybody out. What are we going to do? We're going to drive for the big companies? I don't want to drive for those guys. I work my tail off to get to where I'm at right now. And I don't want to work for anybody else because I can't afford the insurance.
Right.
So we need to go out here and fight, and we need to make our voice heard that we don't want this.
No.
No.
So if you go to OIDA's Facebook page, they've got information on who you need to call and who you should write a letter to. But definitely they came out, they said, this would be devastating for small business
Yes.
truckers. It would line the pockets of trial lawyers at the expense of hardworking truckers, and it would do nothing to improve highway safety.
It wouldn't. It is.
Yeah.
It's this the greed up top saying, yo, we can get these other guys like RDL and all these other companies. We can squeeze those guys out.
Right.
We end up working for them.
Right, you will have to go back to the larger trucking
Right.
companies because you won't be able to afford the
Right.
insurance requirements on this type of.
Yeah, I definitely don't want to go back to Walgreens where I left. I ain't even trying to do that and go back to the photo lab. That's why I was at Grace.
Right.
Yeah,
No,
I left for Walgreens and went to trucking. I don't think they want to see me back at the photo
No,
lab.
no.
It ain't good. I ain't doing it.
You know, and I know we've got great clients like Outlaw Transportation. They will go, to DC. They'll march. They will.
Oh, that's what's up.
Yeah, people. I mean, so many of our clients do and get involved, and we do as well. We completely support you. When the ELD mandate came out, we were trying to make sure that everybody was covered, and we're constantly watching legislation and this type of thing. But right now, I would say we definitely need everybody trying to get involved. And
absolutely. So you gonna put it on Facebook? What are we putting it at?
We'll post it on social media as
good.
well. We'll
Good.
try and make sure we keep
I'm gonna
everybody.
be a part of that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that came back around.
Yeah, it did come back around. It was brought up not a few years ago.
Yeah, I heard
been
about
brought back up again. OIDO pointed out that in current insurance requirements cover the damages already of 99.4% of
right.
commercial motor vehicle accidents. So this is unnecessary.
They just moving the finish line. They're trying to make it tough for us, but it's
some
all good.
lobbying going on, for the.
It is, but we're gonna fight it.
Right.
Let's get out there and make our voice be heard.
We have to,
Let's do it.
and I think OIDA does a great job of bringing owner-operators together. It's hard sometimes. Social media has made that better. I mean, obviously what we're doing tonight and the way we can kind of talk, Richmond says don't go back to the photo lab. Corporations are rooting for insurance to be hiked up. I think that might be true. They're trying to keep the little man down. I don't know. They're definitely trying to change the way it works.
Yeah. Well, even if they're not trying to keep the little man down, that's what you're doing.
Right.
You can have a totally different agenda, but you got to look at the ramifications of what happened when you bump that up that high.
Right.
Who can afford it? I'm pretty sure the insurance company's like, hey, we're going to keep it at the same rates as you have it for $1 million. No, it's going to increase and we won't be able to afford it.
Right. I mean, insurance can be so hard as it is. We
is.
just talked about, you had one too many drivers this year. If you don't tell your insurance company up front, I plan on growing, I plan on adding this many trucks, I plan on adding this many drivers, there are so many times it's held against you. At the end of the year, you go to renew and they're saying, well, you grew too fast. What?
Right.
I thought this was America. I thought we wanted to grow.
But that's the thing, though. You got to make sure you got a good relationship with them. And hopefully, they're not backing what's going on either, because it's going to hurt us.
Right.
Hey, drop your comments too, y'all. Bring it.
We've got some great comments. People already coming in and talking. Please, absolutely, if you've got questions for us, we've got Delmard here. Want to keep talking about this. So one of the things I also wanted to mention was I was in Chicago 2 weeks ago visiting TruckerFi. It's our equipment financing division, which, if you don't know that we now offer equipment financing and have for a little over a year, I'll plug it. We do.
Shameless plug. Go
yeah.
ahead.
Well, hey, we're
offer
helping pay you anyway. So so many people were asking. They love us. They trust us, which we appreciate that. Do you have an equipment financing option? And we do, and it's been booming. It's been doing great.
Oh, yeah.
But I was up there visiting that team, which is incredible. And, one of the things I noticed was a loan, an app came over from somebody, and it was literally like a $108,000 loan request.
108?
Yeah. On a piece of equipment that was market value somewhere around $47,000, $48,000, right? So we didn't do it because it didn't make business sense as well. Like, there is inflation right now.
It is
we know
awful.
that
It's
things
awful.
are up, right? We know that people are going to pay more for trailers. I think a 2015 trailer a few years ago, we were paying, I saw somewhere around $14,000. It's somewhere around $24,000, $25,000.
Easy right now.
Right.
Yeah.
Easy, right?
99s are going for, like a 99 trailer could go for $8,000, $9,000.
So,
because people are so desperate for
yeah.
it. Even with trucks. It started with the trailers, then it trickled down to the trucks.
Right. Well, okay, so great question really fast. Do you recommend auctions for trailers?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. But right now, you're going to overpay.
Right.
You are competing with hundreds of people that's on the auctions online trying to get trailers because there's a shortage.
Right.
They're going to run up the price.
Well, what was crazy to me is obviously this app came over because someone was willing to pay $108,000 or thinking that they should, right?
That's crazy.
And we're like, hey, not a good idea. This isn't going to work out. Because even when it's not just about when rates come down, but yes, when rates do, and if they do, and over the period of a loan on a piece of equipment, they probably likely will, because this is all, like we're talking, it's...
The market will correct itself. And you're going to you have $50,000 more than you should. That's insane.
Right.
What happened when the rates go back down? Can you afford that truck?
Right.
It will come back around. And you're looking up, you're getting $1,000 for this run. It's going to come back around. Just like anything, real estate, everything else in life, it come back around, it's going to correct itself. You're going to get a rate come for $500. That's not gonna help you pay for that truck, no. You're gonna end up losing it. Yeah, you win it for 6 or 7 months, but then after the 6 or 7 months, realization gonna hit you. You're gonna look up like, yo, I can't afford this truck. So now it's gonna jack your credit up because you got to give it back.
Right.
A repo man pull it up and jack in your truck. That's crazy because you winning right now. 7 months from now, are you still winning?
Right.
Put yourself in a situation where longevity, you can sustain what you're doing. This will not hold. The market will correct.
So then it begs the question though, like, if you need a new trailer, if you know you want to expand a little bit, if you're getting into it, and you know it's like, people do need to consider.
Yeah.
Yes, you're going to overpay right now.
Right.
But make sure it's not ridiculous.
Yeah, they're taking advantage of people, and that's so dope that you guys said no to that.
Right.
Right. You could have easily said yeah, and just like, oh, we'll deal with it. We're gonna get his money. He has to deal with whatever goes on. A lot of people don't care like that.
Right.
They just say to themselves like, okay, he wanted it. Let's approve it. He'll deal with it. But that's dope that y'all actually sat back and say, no, that's not a good fit for you.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have always looked out for our clients. We've always,
That's what's up.
we really do want everybody to succeed. We offer we jokingly, but really say we're more than just a factoring
Right.
company. Sure, we can factor your bills, and I think we do that really well, but we want to provide the tools for trucking companies to really succeed and grow. And, I've talked about this on Clubhouse before, trucking companies that use a factoring company on average can grow 40% more than trucking companies that don't. People are like, that's crazy. Like, I'm paying you to pay me. No, there's a time value of money. If we do it right, if we all work together, if we provide you other tools to keep you more efficient, to help you negotiate the best rate, to get you an insurance partner, to look at your equipment financing and go, not the best deal. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Or the brokers,
Right.
because I was a huge y'all at first. I was
Right.
dealing getting the money in 30 days. I'm dealing with brokers that don't pay
Yeah.
and didn't know.
Right.
The broker I was talking to was really nice, but they don't pay anybody. I didn't know that. So, but then going through you guys, I was able to do the credit check. So, and I was able to help me just kind of push along and not deal with people
Right.
and just beg for the money that I earned.
Yeah.
So-
I mean, the credit check, it seems so, like, to me, I've been doing this for a while, and I'm thinking, like, broker check.
Right.
But people don't, especially right now, if imagine not using a factoring company, there's freight everywhere,
Yeah.
but not necessarily.
It's all kind of freight brokering
Right.
companies opening up right now.
Yes.
They don't have a lot of capital.
Yes.
They don't have no history of paying. And here you are, they paying you this unbelievable rate. You're like, yo, this is dope. And you don't realize that factoring company is super new.
Right.
Yeah, they got 19, and this other guy got 17, but he's been around. They've been paying for a while. Y'all can back him. But the new guy doesn't. He can't pay you.
That's right.
Now they want to give you half on a cum check. They don't try to do me like that. No, I'm not doing no cum check and give you the other half when you send the BOL over. That's too stressful.
Right. And imagine, like, you trying to, vet the brokers yourself. Like, that's
No.
what we do. That is our business. We've got 10 years of history. We can pinpoint, we can
Yeah.
figure, we can back into it. And we can make exceptions too. Like, you're worried about working with the broker. We're like, no, it's good.
Right. Oh yeah. I've been in a situation where y'all made them prepay, and I was able to do the loan.
Right.
I don't know if I need to tell that, but y'all was like, yo, prepay now, and I was able to do the run.
Right.
Then y'all guaranteed to I was guaranteed to get my money.
Right. Well, because sometimes they want an opportunity, and
To prove themselves.
especially if the carrier's factoring, they're like, "Look, I need this carrier. We want to make it work for you. You need the load.
Right.
They want the carrier.
Yep.
We do what we can to make it work."
Yeah.
So thanks for bringing that up. What's the biggest step you took? Marlis wants to know. What's the biggest step you took in becoming successful, like you are in trucking?
Being resilient and working hard and really networking too. Really getting at it because I've been in situations where I felt like giving up. It was really tough for me, and I didn't have nobody to really talk through it. So I was able to kind of push through by just keeping my head down and working hard and figure out what people needed. What did they really need, and I figured out the trailer business because it was a niche for me. So just being resilient and not giving up, just day after day working my butt off.
I mean, but how much risk did you take on? Like, were there times where you were super scared, like, this is crazy?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
A lot. It was a lot. It was a lot of times I told my wife, like, yo, I don't know what direction I'm going with this. I'm just hoping for the best. It was a lot of sleepless nights. Like,
Did you use a mentor?
not really. No, I didn't. Honestly, I didn't. It's a lot of guys I had said they mentors, and I didn't know them at the time. But no, I didn't. It was a lot of prayer and talking to my wife and just talking to different drivers, grabbing advice, and just me just hunkering down and saying, yo, I'm gonna make this work. I'm gonna figure it out. It would have been so much easier if I had a mentor. It really would have.
Well, 16 years ago, I don't think people were talking the way they talk now.
No, and
You know,
I want to go back as far like 6 years. So 10 years ago, I was out. Well, yeah, at Swift. 10 years. I was 7 years at Swift, 4 years at another company I leased on to. In the last 6 years, I was by myself. So the last 6 is where I built this business, where I met. So 6 years ago, I didn't know a lot of people.
Right.
I was just trying to get it, and you don't know who to trust when at the internet, social media. Everybody is a guru. Everybody's an expert. Everybody's a millionaire. It's hard to figure out who's who.
Right.
And I couldn't decipher through all that stuff. It's scary.
Well, so I think that's one of the reasons why, I love Clubhouse. I think it's provided, platform for you to listen. It's not necessarily mean like trust everything you
Right,
hear.
right.
We're here tonight trying to give you the best information we have possible,
Right.
and honesty and openness,
Right.
and dropping gems, and and it's free. I mean, heck, one of you is going to get paid to be here tonight.
$2,021.
I mean, can you believe it? But
Again.
we just, we love to give away money.
Yeah.
That's what we do.
You gonna
If it
give
was
me
up to
some?
me, yeah, no, not tonight,
Okay.
but some other time.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Let's talk about Hazmat. Someone asked about Hazmat. Getting into Hazmat, do you know anything about it? It obviously pays well.
It does.
But it's specialized.
Yeah, right. I don't know a lot about it. I got buddies that do it, but that's not my expertise in that. But there's money in it.
Right.
It's definitely anything you can do outside of just the traditional doing a load with a drive-in can help you get in another lane and create another stream of income and revenue. Because everybody ain't running the hazmat. Everybody ain't running the flatbed or reefer.
Right.
Drive-in is kind of neutral for everybody who's jumping in trucking to do. So anything outside of that is great.
Right.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
Someone asked me like a couple weeks ago, can I help them find a dispatcher with Hazmat? I'm still looking for someone. So
You're looking right.
yeah, I mean, so if you
Right.
know someone, let me know so I
Yeah.
can let this work. Like it's all one community,
Right, right.
So
and being
if
on Clubhouse too, you can ask
Right.
those questions on that OTR. You
Yeah.
never know who's listening, who's on there from week to week. So that'd be a dope place to go and learn.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I mean, I love Kelsey. She does the breakfast trucking club.
Yeah.
What is that, Monday? Most mornings there's a
Most
breakfast.
mornings, I think they're doing like three days of
9
the week.
a.m.
Yeah, it's really dope.
It is.
It's a lot of good information there.
I haven't been on in a minute, and I would like to because it's just been crazy busy.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was in Chicago, but it's such a great place for
Yeah.
information to ask other questions,
Right.
to ask other trucking companies, or truck owners.
It's a
what they
safe place
think.
just to sit back and
It is,
learn,
right.
because you don't have to say anything. You can most of the time people are asking the questions for you,
Mm-hmm.
but it's a dope place. The Clubhouse is a really good place to go.
Right. So, new truck or used truck?
I'm a used truck type of guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but right now the prices are so high. I don't know what direction to go. To be honest with you, everything's inflated. But used is what I normally do. Make sure you get a good warranty. I try to stay under 500,000 miles when you get it, and definitely get a factory warranty. So I'm a used type of guy. So what is it? 2021. I go back as 5 years tops on a used truck.
Luis says 2015 or newer.
Yeah, here we go.
Okay. All right. So, all done dispatch. Kelsey is a bomb. I agree. It's, by the way, thanks everybody that's putting stuff in here. Continue to ask questions and put your comments in. That's
Yeah.
what we're here for. Any tips on running teams?
Teams.
Yeah, team driving.
I've never done team driving, to be
Really?
honest with you. No,
Yeah.
I've seen guys do it, but I never did really touched on teams. It's just really never done it. That's not my thing at all.
We'll make sure we add that to our So You
Yeah.
Think You Can Truck. We're gonna get a
Yeah.
team. We'll do a teams night, and we'll try and bring some information on that.
Yeah.
Because I know that's a big one too. So, let's see. Need more truckers. Talk about Marquis. We do. We have a great insurance partner. Yes, we do. We have a great insurance partner. So if you need a quote and a renewal, and we're not doing that for you, you're potentially missing out.
Yeah.
Marquis has been excellent, great partner of ours. We share space in the building, and most of our clients are sort of, we like to say, factoring with OTR insurance with Marquis, and they may even run freight for NTG. So.
Yeah. I mean, I really like Marquis because when I first came over, I was really in a space where I was getting taken advantage of because I didn't know no better. I was getting taking the first quote they gave me, not knowing no better.
Right.
Right. Instead of saying, look, I don't like what I see. Can you find something else? Because I'm going to shop
'Cause
around
they can
with somebody
shop
else.
it too.
They can, but then
Yeah.
I didn't realize that nobody told
Right,
me.
right.
I was just thought they was really nice to me, and I just took their word. Now I know I need 2 or 3 quotes from you before I say anything. Matter of fact, I'm gonna get somebody else in another company to go start doing quotes. If you don't come with some good stuff,
Right.
and I do that, I don't do it anymore because now y'all take care of me. It's a little different. But for the most part, I always say shop around. Don't let that one particular person deal with your business in a way that you feel like, oh, I'm gonna trust them. And until you get that trust, y'all get that bond. Like Marquis and I,
Right.
I can trust y'all now. I don't have to shop around and get another agency to do it like I was doing before though.
Do you know a good broker for a 20-foot box truck in Florida?
Ooh. Man, y'all asking a lot of questions. I don't even look. I got a guy named Box Truck. What's his name? Last Mile legend. His name's Chris. We call him Box Truck Chris, and he does a lot of stuff. And DeMarco does a lot of stuff on box trucks,
Yes.
man. So y'all need to ask DeMarco on IG Ashton Marco, and I think his name is the Last Mile Legend or something like that.
Great.
Yeah, those guys are box trucks experts. That's their thing right there. They're box trucks experts. So definitely get with those guys on Instagram.
Great. David says, how do you know if you're getting a good rate or not? Should I go back and plug the rate negotiator? Or, no.
No.
I'm joking, but I'm not. But
Right. No. But look, you definitely need that. If you don't have a point of reference, definitely go on that site there because you might be lowballing yourself. A lot of times on the low board, they'll put rates there knowing that they know they're going to have to pay more. But in your mind, you feel like, oh, they're paying $600. Everybody on there saying the same crap.
Right.
But really, they're going to pay $1,200, but you just don't know that.
Of course they're going to go low.
They are. They're going so you can go back and say 650, 750, 800. But deep down, they would have gave you 1,200.
Right.
But that's when I do my little tricks when I say, yo, I make my post on there. I put my post and I put my own rate on there.
Yeah.
If they say 7, I put 1,000 on there just to see if they bite. If you call me, I know you entertaining that 1,000 off the rip.
Right, we've talked about that before.
Oh,
You
yeah.
do it. You don't go searching for loads. You go posting your trucks.
I go posting it. And I go on the low board just to see what they're doing. Then I go back and post. I get clever. Sometimes if I see a lot, if they pulling out of Opelika, Alabama, and a lot of loads in, down that area, I'm willing to go to Opelika, Alabama, and I put it in my post just to make them bite and call me.
Right.
So I'm really the deadhead from Atlanta down to Opelika just to get them to call. They're like, oh, you in Opelika? No, I'm not, but I'm willing to go there.
Yeah.
Right? So I got them to call. Because everybody's in Atlanta, but I'll make the post for Opelika just to give them a call. So then we'll get the chance to negotiate the rate, go back and forth. So that's one of the little things I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you've brought that up before, and I think it's great.
Oh, yeah. It still works.
Right.
Use it.
Right. So that just made me think when you were talking about Deadhead. It makes me think of Power Only.
Oh.
So when I first started in this business, we probably only had a handful of carriers that were Power Only, for probably multiple, magnitude of reasons. And one being, then you don't have the overhead of the trailer and the cost of the trailer and the insurance on the trailer, and maybe needs to be repaired, and so they were having to run Power Only.
Power Only popping right now.
Is
Can you believe it?
unbelievable.
What in the world? Power Only. You usually do that when your trailer broke down.
Yeah.
Or you don't have enough revenue
Right.
to get you another trailer.
It was almost like, I don't want to say like looked down upon, but it was like, oh, you're
Just a
Power
little bit,
Only.
just a
Right.
little
It
bit.
was a little bit. Now it's like, no, I'm Power Only.
We're Power Only, right.
Like, I'm Power Only.
Heck,
So,
5 months ago, people was like, yo, Power Only is awful. I need a trailer.
Right.
I think they realized that, yo, we need to come up on our rates in order to get these loads moved.
Right.
All of a sudden now, it's very attractive to do it. Some of the good things about doing Power Only right now is you using their trailer and you don't have to worry about the maintenance. That's really dope too. So you got a newer trailer, but one of the bad things about it is you may go in the area where you can't get a load.
Right.
Or another trailer. So then you kind of like have to
Deadhead home.
Right, but then keep in mind, y'all, whatever you going, go to those load boards and see what they got going out the next day and the day before, just to get a feel. If you're going over that direction where it's dead at, make sure you get the absolute top rate you can get. So when you deadhead out of that area, guess what? You can save some of that money on the deadhead. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of that profit.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I've never seen more Power Only carriers as I have, recently
Right.
in recent months. It almost begs the question, is it because they can't find a trailer or because they sold it and they can make enough money Power Only?
A little bit of everything. It's the driver shortage because now they can't move those loads. You got a shortage in trailers, right? Then they seem like, yo, we can make money doing this. We should go back to the shippers and get more money so we can get this freight moved.
Right.
So yeah, it's a little bit of everything that's making Power Only a thing now. Power Only, I can't believe that.
Right.
Yeah, it is what it is right now.
It's wild. Cam, advice on building relationships with brokers.
Oh, it's everything. It's everything because I've been in situations where I did a really good job for, just say the guy name is Tony, right? I did so well with Tony. Tony was able to put me on with someone else in the building because guess what? I really killed it. They want, especially when they get new accounts, they want to go in doing a really good job. So they'll start asking around, hey man, a carrier can rock this thing out. If you're doing a good job with Tony will put you on with somebody else to help you expand.
Right.
That's how you can be able to grow your business.
But you should tell Tony, right? Hey, I want to keep running freight for you.
Right.
If you like working with Tony, you like the lane, you like the rate,
Right.
like this is something you'd like to do regularly. I think too the question is like how can you actually be the one that Tony calls?
Right.
Do you say, Tony, I'll do it again? Do you say, Tony, I'll do it for less because I want to do it again? Like,
Right. Well,
how do you?
keep in mind that less thing? Like I've done that too, and they kind of messed me over on the less thing. Make sure you put it where you're profitable, right? And let them know that you're gonna communicate all the way through.
Right.
You're gonna give the best customer service when you get to these places, right? You're gonna just communicate all the way around. That helps you build a relationship with Tony so he can give you more stuff. But don't go less because you're trying to create a good relationship. less ain't always the best thing to do.
Right.
You still got overhead. You got 22.9, you got truck note, you got insurance, you got highway tax, you got oil changes, you got a driver, you got insurance. There's so much stuff you got to pay for. So don't do less because you're trying to build a relationship. Make sure you're profitable and it makes sense for you before you start trying to cater to the broker.
But if you want to build that relationship and you want the broker, utilizing you, and you don't necessarily want to make it about price, make it about communication.
Yeah, communication, but the price need to be right too.
Right.
Because
Price needs to be right.
Yeah, because you can communicate and don't have the price right, then you out of business 6 months.
That's right. No, that's a great point. But the price could be like everyone's happy with the price, and your driver doesn't communicate well.
Yeah.
Makes you look bad. Okay.
It's a deal breaker.
So if your driver's not going to communicate, you better be able to communicate on
Right.
behalf of your driver.
Right. One of the things I do here, when my driver's not answering the phone, I tell the broker, look, if he doesn't answer, call me. I'm going to send you a screenshot wherever he at. I'll send you the screenshot of where he's located at now if you need to know.
Right.
Because sometimes the drivers don't answer the phone for all kind of reasons. Either they don't want to talk, or they was on the phone with their baby mama or their cousin, or whatever they got going on, so they don't answer the phone. My signal don't work. So I tell them to call me, and I'll answer any of the questions you got so you can relate it to the shipper or the co-signee.
Right. Okay. There's so much flowing in. I'm trying to keep up. What do you think about hot shots?
Hot shots is great. Hot
Yeah.
shots is great. But once again, that is not my forte. But everything popping right now. You got to find these specialty guys who do hot shots, who do last mile, who does all this other stuff and the reefers and all that. But everything is popping right now.
Right.
But you're gonna overpay for whatever you're trying to get into.
I like hot shots. We've factored hot shots for years. Car haulers, hot shots. Drive-in, reefer. Everything. Straight trucks, box trucks. Last mile. Everything we factor.
Yeah.
We've seen it all. Hot shots are great. If anybody needs a hot shot dispatcher, hit me up. I can always make those introductions as well. Because we have, like I said, we have all these relationships, and we're always trying to connect people. So, do I think hot shot freight is great? Yeah.
Everything great at the
Yeah.
moment, to be honest
Right,
with you.
true.
Everything is popping. And just be careful when you're buying this equipment out here. Just like we were talking earlier, don't overpay for what's going on because you're desperate to get in the game. You're going to end up paying too much, and it can end up losing long term.
Right.
So, yeah, be careful. What are y'all doing? I remember in 2018, it was so many trucking companies jumping out here. They started small, and they grew so fast within 4 or 5 months because
Yeah.
the money was so well. And guess what, 2019, wasn't a lot of people that end up going out of business because the market kind of corrected itself and it dropped off.
Yeah.
And everybody who expanded so quickly ended up losing so much stuff so quickly, just as fast as they got it.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's, that goes back to the driver thing, like the chicken or the egg. Do you find the driver, and then you get the equipment that you don't know is out there?
Yeah.
You get the equipment, yet you can't find a driver.
Right.
So it's also, if you're in a good spot and you're making great, money, don't feel this pressure,
Right, to
necessarily.
expand
Yeah.
and go get it because there's so much freight.
Right.
I've been in situations when I had owner operators on my account and I was doing very, very well in 2018, and all of a sudden it tapered down. Those guys was pissed when they couldn't get
Right.
loads.
Right.
Not and at the rate they were getting it at.
Right.
Like they was happy in 2017, they was ecstatic in 2018. In 2019, they hated the 2017 prices. Like, yo, hold up, that was good in 2017. Now all of a sudden it's not good enough
Right.
because it will correct itself. It really will.
But then in 2019, you could barely buy a sandwich by the time you delivered.
Literally, you licking oodles and noodles out of there. You couldn't even put them in the pot. You
Right.
just crunching them like they're Doritos because you're in a bad space.
Victoria, you hit the nail on the head. So Luis asked reefers or dry vans, and Victoria said reefers are high risk. I mean, that's the first
Yes.
thing I thought, and I think, first of all, you can treat a reefer like a dry van, so
Yeah.
that's one of the advantages of reefers.
And sometimes the brokers don't let you load up with the
Yeah.
reefers either. Keep that in mind.
Okay, well, and someone asked too about like food product loads. Yeah, like they pay great.
They do.
But here's the thing, like, again, don't get a reefer if you don't have an experienced driver.
Yes.
And don't, make sure that your driver is going to stick with you because, yeah, you can haul great freight. Reefers are more expensive, and they're also more expensive if there's a claim or issue. I jokingly tell our sales manager, Tyler, I'm like, T, please, produce season's coming. Don't sign up brand new carriers that just got a reefer that
Man.
have no idea how to use it. I mean, I swear I'm going to see blueberries and asparagus and all sorts of things. It says hot, it says cooked on the BOL. I'm like, that means, if, I think it's something like 3 to 5 degrees will completely.
Really?
Oh,
Ruin
yeah.
the whole load?
Like
Jeez.
you have to make sure that your drivers understand how to keep the reefer going the entire time. That that they know how to work it. But,
Right.
I
And
mean,
and mindful of the temperature at all
yeah.
times.
But even loading, shifting in transit and pallets of blueberries and like watermelon crush, and then it's like where to dispose. It is, if you don't know how to run reefer and you haven't done it, like
I had guys at the truck stops cut off a reefer
Yeah.
because they hate the noise.
Right.
Look, and if you in deep REM sleep, bro, and you don't hear that thing go off, it could be off for like a couple hours. Next thing you know, you got bad milk in the bag. You know,
Right.
I've seen guys and heard them say they cut it off. They can't sleep because they keep clipping on and scaring them. So guess what? If you're not monitoring, you don't have certain sensors that's sending something to your phone to let you know that this temper is dropping below what it should be, you're in trouble. So, but you can make money with reviews, but you got to be mindful. You make sure you got a driver that's real, looking at everything at all times and checking it all out.
Yeah.
It's not one of those things you just let it run itself. It doesn't work that way.
No. And if there is an issue with any of the produce or the watermelons or whatever, do not let your driver dispose of it until the broker tells you
Yes.
where to dispose of it. I don't care if that is all over your trailer and you have crushed watermelon, hanging out. Do not dispose. Don't do anything. Don't touch it.
Right.
Let the broker tell you how to handle it. Or that's.
So you got guys that throw it away before they talk to the broker?
Yeah.
Oof.
Can you believe that? Their driver's like, I had to get it out. Like I had to go to the next load. I couldn't wait anymore. I had to clean it out. I'm like, and that's where OTR comes in too, because when and if we hear about this, we've done it for so long, we completely will advise you. We will try and help you understand like what to do, what not to do. We don't necessarily try and get in the middle. We try and give you the best advice we possibly can.
Well, that's what's up. I stay away from reefers, although I do lease them out, but I don't use them myself personally.
Yeah. Grace says, Grace Griffin, watermelons, make sure you're not late. Late fees, especially around July 4th, which is hysterical. So normally right before we break for holiday, when we come back from July 4th break, we're like, make sure your watermelon's delivered. It's like a running, thing at OTR. Yeah, because we know if the driver didn't make it there on time, the broker's not going to pay.
Ooh.
Yeah. Because you didn't, they need it. They need
Right,
the watermelons
before
there
that
before the
time,
holiday.
right.
Yeah. No, people don't want to be eating watermelons on July 5th. They're eating it on July 4th.
I got
So, you got to make
funny.
sure your watermelons deliver on time. Good point, Grace. Hire food service drivers. Yes, I was talking to a friend that works at Cisco, and they're like, there's a huge driver shortage. We can't get chicken delivered and all this other stuff.
It's across the board. It's a
across the
struggle.
board.
It's a struggle. This is unprecedented to see how much stuff has been trickled down from the coronavirus. You got the shortage in trailers. You got the shortage in drivers. You got the rates that's climbing up. You got just the companies out here just doing what they're doing to kind of make it harder on the owner operators.
Right. And
just the smaller companies. This is what you were talking about with the 4.9. This is insane.
Yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see anything like this again in a while. This
is pretty historic. I'd love to say that, this is going to last for a while. And
It
I
would be
think
nice.
we all hope it will, between produce season and then holiday freight coming and, COVID, people are vaccinated and things are opening up. It was amazing to see, people at sporting events again and concerts and festivals. And it's truly awesome.
Yeah, and we got FEMA season coming up too. So that's my time. I love FEMA season.
Talk about it. How do you get FEMA freight?
FEMA freight. Look, I got a course coming out. I don't want to do the little shameless, but I got a course coming out really soon. It's going to break down how to do the FEMA stuff, how you can make money with it. People didn't even know national disaster. It was chasing. They make that type of money. They pay out. I think Biden just gave us $1 billion already early for disaster relief coming up for hurricane season and all the storms that's coming. That's dope as hell. I don't know how y'all look at it, but normally we have to wait on the money and they release it once the disaster's on the way, or they kind of get a feel for how much they need. But he already gave $1 billion already.
Right.
So I'm already getting in place so I can get it. So the load board, to answer your question, a lot of the times the stuff on the load board, you got to know what they're looking for. They're paying $5,000, $6,000 to go to Texas from Atlanta to go over there to drop tarps, to go over to drop generators. But people don't know that stuff exists. You end up taking it for $1,200 and $1,300 when you should have got $5,000 or $6,000 for it.
But also, I want to say that this is when OTR can help too, from a factoring perspective.
Yep.
Of course, we're willing to factor FEMA freight, but we also look at some of the restrictions that brokers will put in the fine print on a rate con.
Yep.
Okay, a lot of people think FEMA
yeah.
freight is just a gold mine, but there's some fine print on there, like paid when paid. You know, and we'll be like,
paid when paid.
Right.
What does that mean?
Right. What does that mean?
Well, when they get paid is when they pay you. It could be 6 months from now.
Oh yeah,
It could be 8
because
months
the
from now.
government doesn't pay in 30 days.
And you can't
They
force the
can.
government.
They could pay
but-
quickly, but like, why do you think the broker's putting that there?
Right. Because sometimes it takes
They've already
months.
because they've already termed it with the government. Hey, pay us when you pay us.
Right.
And so we'll pay the driver. So that's another thing is we will make sure we look and go, hey, take that off, or hey, make sure you tell them no,
Right.
I want a 45-day pay on this, or no, I want
Let me give you a little gem here. When I do some of the FEMA stuff, I tell them, look, I see you got paid when paid. I'm going to need half the money right now.
Right.
So if you can have the money before you go over there, guess what? The other half won't hit so hard if they don't give it to you in 3-4 months. But at least that cover your fuel. At least that can help you pay your driver.
Right.
Right? So they don't pay the other part. You ain't going under. So just keep that in mind. That's a little gem I do.
Yeah.
Give me half before I go over there.
Absolutely.
So if we're saying 5,000, I need 2,500 to go there. So that's almost how much they pay on the regular freight. But at least you got half that money up front before you get over there.
Yeah.
So I can wait on the other 2,500, 30 days, 60 days on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Has the trucking industry been involved in the distribution of COVID vaccines?
Oh yeah, but then you got they
Of
need
course.
to, yeah, absolutely, because of the vaccines they need to be at a certain temp.
That's
so
right.
the reefers was in there, and they was putting bodies in there too.
Right.
In the reefer trailers when people was passing away, that was unfortunate. But yeah, it definitely been played a big part in this.
Right. For sure. I mean, I want to plug the trucking industry as far as like they've been the backbone through a lot of the emergency relief and keeping the country running. I mean, if you eat it, drink it, use it, it came over on, potentially on a boat, moved on a train, and then was picked up by a truck, and ultimately, now you're utilizing it. So absolutely, I mean, COVID vaccinations are moved by trucks. Everything is, my lunch today, the soda I had, the bottle of water I'm utilizing, the shopping I'll do, this holiday season, everything, trucking companies are moving.
Trucking right now is so popular. All of a sudden, because we said before, COVID made everybody look at trucking when it stopped. Everybody looked like, trucking is where it need to be at. And everybody and their grandma has ran to trucking. I had never seen trucking so popular ever in my life.
It was scary though at first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because people were also really, really concerned about their health. But then at the same time, things had to move. I mean, we joke about toilet paper, but it had to get on the shelves.
Yeah,
and literally, truckers didn't want to go out because they were just as scared as
Yeah.
any other
Yeah.
American about whether or not COVID was
Right.
as deadly as it was,
Right.
and were they going to get it? And,
Right. Or was it even worth
right.
driving to deliver toilet paper?
Right. Absolutely, but they did, because
Right.
at a certain point it was like, somebody's got to move this.
Right.
Like we need, and so the price was right, and people started moving, and and then I think more and more masks and other things were put, and then amazingly enough, the industry overnight also got more advanced.
Yeah.
What used to be like sign my POD, became, there was a lot more touchless. I was talking to Elbridge James just even about, he said, one of the biggest craziest things about COVID is that like we used to get out of the trucks and talk. Like trucking companies used to, like drivers would just talk. Here's what's going on here. That's how everybody kind of knew what was happening.
Right.
When COVID happened, everyone was staying in their trucks. Nobody really knew. The communication went down. Also why I think Clubhouse is so huge for trucking right now, because carriers are able to talk to each
Right.
other again
Right.
without getting out of the truck, because
Right.
that kind of became,
Yeah.
let's not intermingle because of
You
COVID.
can't even go in the shippers, and
Right.
they won't even let you go in there.
Right.
You would sign in at the guard shack and get back in your truck and wait till they load you up. Still kind of doing it now. So like you said, it took away from that social part and learning from each other.
But I've heard that like a lot of people said it also made us more efficient, because they were trying to get people in and out. There
Yep.
was less lingering, less
True.
like hanging around just to,
True.
talk, or
Less lines
Yeah.
out there, and the lady sitting there taking her time because you're getting paid hourly. So she's just working you in. Taking you 2 hours to get checked in. There's 4 people in front of you, and they taking lunch breaks while you're sitting in the line. I've
Right.
seen it all.
Right. So let's see. What is an important factor to know before you buy your own truck?
Important factor. Starting from scratch, you need to know your budget. First of all, what you can afford. Find a dealer, see what kind of warranties they have, and making sure you have a direction on what you want to do with that. I'm hoping they talk about 18-wheeler. What direction you want to go with 18-wheeler? Do you want to do over the road? Do you want to do local? Or you doing reefer? You doing container? You have an idea of what direction you're going,
Right.
and making sure that you understand the business before you just grab a truck and try to run with it. So it's a lot of factors to go within.
So many factors.
It is. Just like because you got a truck, don't mean you're
Right.
gonna win.
I mean, I'm like, do you even understand the basics of safety?
Right.
I mean, that's what's
Right.
crazy to me is I think that most people, even if they get their CDL, they're not
Right.
necessarily prepared for, the safety audit that's coming.
Right.
Or if they do get audited, what do I need? That completely can stop a trucking company in its tracks. Hey,
Yeah.
you're being audited.
Right.
Whoa, nobody wants to say
Everybody
they're
get
being
an audit
Right.
within the first year.
Everybody will
Yeah.
get audited in
Are
the
you
first
ready
year.
for it?
Do you know what that means?
Right. Exactly. Do you know what it means? And you look up and you don't have all your stuff in order. You've been
Right.
doing good, getting the loads on time. Your driver is safe in the whole 9. And when you get your audit, guess what? You don't have your logs together.
Right.
Your BOLs ain't together. You don't have nothing. Do you have your pre-employment drug screen together? Your random DOT. Do you have that? Do you have the random drug and alcohol? Do you have any of that stuff put in place when
Right.
DOT come and say they give you an audit? Do you have all this stuff in place? You need a backroom office person sure when you get your audits, you're good to go. And there's a lot of dope people on IG that do that too as well.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. All done brings up a good point. Know your break-even point, all your expenses and profit goals. Like, write it down, figure it out, back into it. You know, there's a learning curve. You've got to figure it out. You know, we've talked about when you first left Swift and you went out and you were on your own.
Oh, it was terrible. Yeah.
You learned a few lessons.
Oh, real quick. I was gonna go out of business if I didn't get it together.
Mm-hmm. Is there any state preference to start and work in this business?
What was the question?
Is there any state you should that you should start your business in? Like, you should give preferential treatment to start your business in?
Well, you can start anywhere, to be honest with you, because freight goes in and out all different directions, so it's always coming through.
Right.
So you can start wherever you are. It's no preference in it, to be honest with you. Yeah, the major cities are really great. Don't get me wrong, but at the same time, anywhere.
Right.
Anywhere. Trucks coming through all type of ways. Everything getting delivered at all these cities.
I'll say that freight rates, like going cross country too, that we see obviously are higher. You know, the cities along the East Coast are a lot closer together, so those rates going from city to city can be lower. As when you West Coast, they're further apart, so freight rates going across can be more. But there's also laws in California that don't make it easy. And we can bring that on. You know, we need to bring on safety and compliance. Maybe I got to get Kelsey up here.
Yeah, Kelsey, she dope.
She's amazing.
She is. She do a really good job on the backroom stuff. I think she just dropped a course too.
Yeah.
On the backroom stuff, so she can show you how to do it if you don't want to pay other people to do it for you.
All right, last question. It's 8:56, but I do want to mention David's saying he's like concert tour contracts. I don't know anything. I'll be honest with you. I don't know anything about concert tour contracts.
Yeah, I don't know either. That sounds interesting. Sounds like somebody need to dive into.
Yeah, we need to dive into that. So we will talk about more things in the future, because this is So You Think You Can Truck in the first episode in the series, and we will have other industry experts on. So, you know, give us some comments about what you want to hear about next, and we will bring you that information. Thank you everyone for joining us tonight.
Yes.
We do have $2,021.
Let's go.
I see everyone in the back like, don't forget.
Yeah.
I'm like, what?
Somebody
How
rent
could
for
I
be
forget?
paid. Somebody car note.
Why would I forget that?
Cell phone.
It's the reason I'm here tonight.
Somebody
Why would
going to
I
Magic
forget?
City? I don't know. Let's go.
Lord. Good Lord, like we would forget.
Let's go.
Okay, it's right here.
Okay.
I did it last time. You want to do it that time?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Okay. All right.
Oh, it's like the Oscars, man.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a drum roll? A little light? Cute nails,
What?
but a real light. But
What do you mean it's light?
It's light. Mine was like real heavier. There we go. Oh my God.
Who is it?
Oh my God.
Who is it?
It's upside down.
Who is it?
Okay, you know I can't read. Luis Vasquez.
Yes, Luis Vasquez. You have won $2,021. Thank you for being here tonight. This is amazing.
Look at you, man. Look at Jesus. Look at that. Let's go.
Yes. Thanks everyone for joining tonight. We'll do this again. We'll have more giveaways. We will have sponsors. We're going to do more things this year. And we're going to continue to bring you great information, because also this is our 10-year anniversary with OTR, and we're thrilled to always be here for you guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, Del Mar.
Thank you.